Hello to our Shape Tribe. I hope you're doing really well out there. Today we're going to do our yoga class in a virtual setting. So follow along by all means. All we need here is a mat. We don't have any props or anything. We're just going to do straight out yoga. So I hope you enjoy. Namaste. All right, we're going to start with lying on our mat. So lying down on our back. We're just going to begin to relax, and we're going to start to bring the focus and the attention to our breath. We want to be taking some nice deep breaths in. We're breathing in through the nose and we're breathing out through the nose. And on every in-breath, we want to be filling our lower belly, followed by the middle of our torso and then our chest. Focusing on our breathing helps our respiratory system. It keeps our lungs in good health. Feeling that oxygen as it comes in and circulates and helps the blood to circulate around our body. We can take one hand to our belly and one hand to our chest and just feel the movement of our body with our breath. So important to take some time and just feel the effects of those breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to begin today. We're going to bring our knees up to our chest and just squeeze our knees into our chest, feeling a nice massage in the spine. We're going to rock gently side to side, massaging our lumbar spine. We're going to take our arms out to the side and we're just going to drop our knees down to the left side. And bringing our knees back up to center now, we're going to drop our knees to the opposite side, to the right side. And then coming back to the center, we're going to hug those knees in again. If you'd like to, you can take your forehead up to your knees for a bit of a deeper stretch there. And coming back down. Let's get some circulation happening to our joints. So we're going to start circling our ankles. Just little circles. Bringing the synovial fluids all through to our joints, warming them up. And we're going to take circles in the opposite direction now. And let's take our hands to our knees and do some circles with our knees. And then circling in the opposite direction. And bringing those knees in again, let's rock up and down along the length of our spine and come up to a sitting position. When we're in our seated position, we're going to take our legs out long in front of us and we're going to place our hands down nice and close to our bottom and we're going to bring our shoulders down. We're going to lift the crown of our head and this is called our staff pose. This is really good for elongating the spine and decompressing some of those discs in between our spine. Remembering to consciously take nice deep breaths. And relaxing. We're going to take our arms up in the air and we're going to lift tall up into the air, and on our exhale we're going to fold down over the front of our legs. We want to be keeping our feet flexed at all times, keeping them active in the pose. And you should be feeling a stretch through your hamstrings here now. And coming back up to neutral. We're going to take our right foot and place it on the outside of our left knee. We're going to hug in that knee. We're going to place our hand down nice and close to our bottom, and we're going to look out over our right shoulder. And as we exhale, we might find that we're able to just stretch a little further here. And coming back to center, we're going to take that leg long. We're going to take the other foot and place it on the outside of the right leg now. And hugging that knee in as we inhale, and looking out and over as we exhale. And taking another breath here. And coming back to center. We're going to take our legs a little wider now. And we're going to reach up with our hands. So taking a nice in-breath, breathing in. Reaching up with the hands, turning our torso over to our left side so our belly button and toes are in alignment. And we're going to fold down as we exhale over the left leg. Coming to rest wherever it's right for you. You might be on your shin on your calf, you might be further down near the ankle, or you might be right around the feet. The feet should be flexed and actively engaged in the pose. And on the inhale, we're going to lift up. Nice and tall, lifting the crown up. The shoulders should be back and down, turning the torso to the opposite side and folding down over the right side. Once again, coming to a point of rest that's just right for you. And on the next inhale, lifting up. And we're going to fold down through the center on the exhale. So folding down and exhaling. Taking a couple of nice breaths here, and then coming up to our neutral position. Well done, everybody. We're going to come up onto our hands and knees now. So coming around, the hands should be beneath, the palms of your hands should be beneath your shoulders. Your knees should be about hip width apart. And we're going to do our cat-cow poses. With our cat-cow poses, we're going to be breathing in and lifting up and tucking the belly down and the head up, and on the exhale we're going to tuck the chin in, lift, draw the belly button up towards the spine, arch the back and come in as we exhale. So our fingers should be widely spread apart. Our middle finger should be pointing to the top of the mat as we begin. We're going to move with the motion of our own breath, so you might be a little faster or you might be a little slower. It doesn't matter, it's just about moving with the motion of your breath. So inhale, lift, and exhale, curling the chin up. We're going to stay here for about 4 breaths. and coming back to neutral when you're ready. When you're ready, we're going to take our right leg out. We're going to press the ball of the foot down into the mat, and we're going to press the heel towards the wall. So we're going to be starting to feel a stretch through the calf muscle here. And then when you're ready, we're going to take our right leg up in line with our back. We're going to keep our foot flexed here and just trying to keep the core engaged in this pose. We're going to take our left arm out with the pinky finger pointing down towards the ground, the thumb pointing up. And holding here for a couple of breaths, engaging the core. And now we're going to take our left arm around to our right ankle. If you can't reach your ankle, just bringing your arm back is fine. If you are able to reach your ankle, then taking hold of your ankle here and stretching on through the pose. And coming back down to the mat. We're going to repeat that on the opposite side. So we're going to take our left leg back, pressing the ball of the foot down into the ground and pressing our heel towards the wall. Starting to feel the stretch through the calf muscle here. We're going to take our left leg up, keeping our foot flexed. And we're going to take our right arm out in front, pinky finger pointing down, engaging the core. And staying here for a couple of breaths. And then reaching around to wherever is right for you. If you're able to take your ankle, then go ahead and grab onto the ankle. If not, just have your hand held behind. And coming back down to the mat. We're going to go into our child's pose here. So you can either leave your knees at hip width apart, or if you'd like to, you can take your knees a little further wider on the mat. We're going to come down and sit down into our heels and reach our arms out and stretch on through the back here. Taking a couple of breaths here in the child pose. And if at any time that you feel that any of these poses are too strong, or if you'd like to take a break, just come back into your child's pose. This is always available to you. And then we're going to come on back up to our hands and knees. From our hands and knees, we're going to just double check our alignment again. We're going to have our hands underneath our shoulders. Our fingers are splayed quite widely. Our middle finger is pointing to the top of the mat. Our knees are about hip width apart. And from here, we're going to tuck our toes and we're going to lift up into our downward dog. So tucking the toes, lifting up into our downward dog. So with our downward dog, we want our heels coming down to the mat as far as they can. It's okay if they don't reach. If you've got any lower back pain or any issues there, you might want to take a slight bend in the knee. In our downward dog, we want to have our gaze either looking down between our feet or up towards our belly button. We want to draw our belly button up towards our spine and lift the hips all the way up. From here, we're going to move forward into our upward plank. And from here, you can either come to your knees and lower to the mat, or you can lower straight down to the mat. We're going to untuck the toes And we're going to just begin to press up into our first back bend. With our first back bend, we don't want to go too far or too high. We're just warming up at this point. So if you'd like to, you can be in a little cobra. If you want to, you can have your hands down into your Sphinx. So elbows are down for our Sphinx. Shoulders are down and away from your ears. And coming back down to the mat. Let's bring our hands nice and close into the chest now. Tuck our toes, lift up into our downward dog. We might just pedal our feet out a little bit here. And coming back to neutral. We're going to shift our weight forward again into our plank. Take a nice breath here. And on the exhale, we're going to lower down to the mat. We're going to untuck the toes and we're going to press up into our next back bend. You can stay in a small cobra, or you might want to have your Sphinx pose here, or you can press up a little further into a big cobra. But we want to have the shoulders down and away from the ears. And coming back down to the mat. Let's tuck our toes, lift up into our downward dog. Coming forward into plank. And we're going to begin to lower now for our third back bend. So tucking the toes, pressing up into a back bend of your choice. So it might be a small cobra, might be a Sphinx, might be a big cobra, or it might be an upward dog. Wherever is right for you today. Coming back down to the mat. We're going to tuck our toes. We're going to lift up into our downward dog. From here, we're going to come to our knees. We're going to sit back into our child's pose for a moment. Taking a couple of breaths here. And coming back up to our hands and knees, let's tuck our toes, lift up into our downward dog. Let's take our right foot up in the air, keeping the foot flexed. If you'd like to here, you can take a bend in that knee. And then we're going to sweep on and step on through with our right foot up between our hands and press on up into our Warrior Two pose. In our Warrior Two pose, our ankle of our front foot is going to be in line with the arch of our back foot. Our front knee is going to have a slight bend in it. We're going to take our arms out long in line with our knees. You might want to just look out over your back hand to check that it's in alignment. And looking out over your front fingertips. If you'd like a deeper lunge, you can take your back foot back. We don't want to see the knee tracking too far over the front toes. Shoulders down and away from the ears. And taking some nice breaths here. We're going to press on up with that front leg, and we're going to have both legs straight now. You may want to decrease your stance slightly. We're going to reach on forward from our hips as far as we can, and then we're going to drop our right arm down and our left arm up into our Trikonasana or our triangle pose. If you're able to, look up towards your hand in the air. If that's not comfortable for your neck, you can look straight ahead or look down. Remembering to take nice controlled breaths. And coming back up. Let's take our left hand behind. Let's take our thumb and our index finger together and reach up and over into our peaceful warrior. Once again, looking up towards the arm in the air. or straight ahead or down, whichever is right for you today. And coming back into our warrior two. Let's bring our hands back down to the mat. Let's take our right foot back now. Press up into our downward dog. We're going to take our left foot in the air now. Let's take a bend in that left knee. And then bring the left leg on through between the hands and come up into our warrior two pose on the opposite side. So once again, our hands are out in line with our legs. Just checking out over the back hand, making sure we're all in alignment. Our feet, our heel of our front foot and our arch of our right foot should be in alignment. And looking out over the front fingertips here. Taking a nice in-breath, followed by an out-breath. And if you'd like to try a deeper lunge, we can take that back leg back and come in for a deeper lunge. We're going to take our right leg straight now, and we're going to reach forward as far as we can from our hips. We're going to drop our left hand down, bring our right hand up. And then coming back up to center, we'll take a bend back in that left knee. We're going to take our hand alongside our right leg. We're going to bring our index finger and our thumb together, and we're going to reach up and over into our peaceful warrior. And coming back into our warrior pose. We're going to bring our hands down beside our front foot. Take our left foot back. Lift up into downward dog. This time we're going to lift our right leg. Bring it on through to near our hands. And we're going to step on up into our warrior one. In our warrior one pose, our left foot, our toes of our left foot are pointing to the top of the left mat, top of the mat. The heel of our front foot should be either in alignment with the back heel or to the middle of that back foot. We're going to have a bend in the front knee. We're going to take our hands to our hips and just ensure that our hips are closed and facing the one direction. In this case, the left hip will be pushing slightly forward, the right hip slightly back. And we're going to take our hands behind, interlace the fingers, draw the shoulders back and down and away from the ears. And take a nice breath in here. And as we exhale, we're going to fold forward over the front knee. Bringing the hands away from the back and feeling a stretch through the shoulders. Taking another couple of breaths here. And coming back up. Let's take our hands right up now. Let's interlace those fingers. Let's press the palms up. And we're just going to take a slight back bend here. And we're going to just take our hands, press the palms back down, and we're going to interlace our fingers and bring our pointer fingers together. And we're going to hold here for a couple of breaths. the arms should be behind the ears. The crown of the head should be lifted up to the sky. Really actively engaging the core, the glutes. You'll feel your quads and hamstrings as well. And releasing here. Let's bring our hands down to the mat. Let's take our right leg back. Let's press up into our downward dog. And take a couple of breaths here. Our warrior one pose. The knee bent at the front. The back leg is straight. We're going to once again take our hands to our hips, make sure our hips are squared and centered. So the right hip is pointing forward, the left hip is pointing back. And we're going to take our arms behind, clasp those hands together, drawing the shoulders down and away. We're going to take an in-breath here, and on the out-breath we're going to fold forward over that front knee. Bringing the arms away from the back to stretch through those shoulders. And using all the points in the feet to press back up. Coming back up here now. We're going to keep that bend in the front knee. We're going to take our arms up. We're going to interlace the fingers above. We're going to press the palms up. And we're going to take a slight back bend here. And coming back up, turn the palms back around. Interlace the fingers with the pointer finger extended into our pistol pose. Our arms should be behind our ears. Our head should be, our crown should be lifted. Our shoulders should be down and away. Holding here actively in the pose for a couple of breaths. And releasing here now. This time we're going to shorten our stance slightly. And we're going to go into a balance pose. So we're going to begin to bring the weight of our body into our left foot. And I'll turn around on this side so that you can see through the camera. So on our left foot, coming up onto the right toe. With our arms, you may want to have them beside you. You can have them out front or you can have them out to the side. Wherever is right for you, we're going to go into our balance pose. So gently lifting the toe off the mat. Once again, you can have your arms out to the side, out in front or on the hips. If you'd like to take a further balance, you can take one hand down to the ground. Balance is at a point where your toe is off the mat. Doesn't necessarily matter how far you can lift your toe off the mat, or if you need to begin with your toe just on the mat, that's fine as well. The balance is bringing about stability and strength into our ankle. So coming down from that pose now, let's bring that foot forward. Let's take a breath here. We'll stay at the front of our mat. I'm going to turn it to the other side so that I can take the opposite foot back now. We're going to take a nice in-breath and just bring back our calmness. So we're going to bring an in-breath here, bringing the hands up, pressing the palms together. And on the exhale, bringing the hands down to our heart center. And another breath here too. And coming back down to our heart center. So this time we're going to be balancing on our right foot. So we're going to have our left toe slightly off the mat, and we're going to have our weight shifted forward onto our right foot. We're going to bring our hands either onto our waist, out front or out to the side. If you want to, you can bring your hand down to the ground. And let's just begin to bring that toe off the mat. Maybe a little easier for me on the hard surface. So gently coming into our balance pose, focusing on a spot that is still and in front of us. Our balance is different every day. It might be different from one side to the other side. And it's different every day. So something that you might be able to do today, you might have difficulty in doing tomorrow. It changes. It changes from morning to evening. It's still ever changing, but it's very important to train our balance as it is to train our strength and our cardio system as well. So coming back down to the mat, to the front of the mat. From here, we're going to go into our tree pose. I'll stand here so we can see our tree pose. So we're going to have our feet about hip width apart. We're going to start from our mountain pose, which is our Tadasana. Our palms are going to be facing forward. We're going to have our shoulders down and away from our ears. We're going to draw our thighs up and press our thighs together. We're going to engage the glutes and the core and actively hold here in the pose where our whole body is engaged in this pose in this moment. Taking a nice in-breath, followed by an out-breath. We're going to bring our left foot to the inside, the sole of our left foot to the inside of our right foot. And you can stay here if that's fine for you. If you want to go a little further with the pose, you can bring your foot up to the inside of your calf. If you want to, you can bring it further up. We try to avoid the knee because we don't want to put any unnecessary strain or pressure on the knee. Or you can bring your hand up, your foot up to the inside of your thigh. And holding here, you can make the pose a little more difficult by bringing your arms up. You can bring your hands into prayer pose, or you can bring your hands into a bind. Just finding what's right for you today and holding here for a couple of breaths. And undoing the bind, releasing the leg, coming back down to center. Let's take another in-breath here. So breathing in, pressing our palms together as we exhale and bring our hands down to heart center. Let's take one more breath here. Breathing all the way in, pressing the palms together and coming down to heart center. All right, we're going to change over to the other side for our tree pose. So once again, we'll start from Tadasana. So with our palms facing forward and our thighs pressed in and up together, our glutes are engaged, our core is engaged, our shoulders are down and away from our ears, our head is lifted, our crown is lifted as though we're reaching nice and tall up into the ceiling. Our ears and our shoulders and our hips are all in alignment. And we're gently going to move our weight onto our left side this time and bring our foot to the inside of our left leg. And then if you're ready, you can bring your foot to a point that's right for you today. Once again, you can have your hands on your hips. You can have them out to help with balance. You can have them up to help with balance. If you want, you can have your hands in a prayer pose, or we can pop our hands in a bind in the opposite way. And when you're ready, coming back down. All right, we're going to come to the top of our mat, and we're going to take our feet wide of the mat, and we're going to come down into a deep squat position. So coming wide of the mat, we're going to bend our knees and come down into our squat, and I'll come here to show you. So with our feet wide, coming down into squat, we're going to have our hands pressing against the inside of our knees so that we can come into a nice deep squat and hold here. If this is too much for you, you can just come straight down to the mat. We'll be coming down to the mat after this in a moment. But we want to hold here and take a couple of breaths. And then releasing, coming down to the mat. We're going to come into lie down on our back. We're going to leave our feet on the mat, and we're going to press up into our glute pose. We're going to breathe through with our glute pose here because the respiratory system is a very important part of our body, and we want to be bringing the awareness around our breath, and we want to be doing our movements with our breath. Yoga is a practice between the mind and the body, and the breath is what connects it all. So on the next in-breath, we're going to press up with our hips, lift up with our arms over our head, and then as we exhale, we're going to come back down to grounding. And we're going to inhale, lift, pressing up through those glutes, and exhale, grounding. I want you to move with the motion of your own breath. We don't all have the same length of breath. So just moving in a motion that suits your breathing pattern. And after your next breath, just coming to rest. And at this point, we're going to take our right ankle over our left leg. We're just going to draw our knee up or our shin, and squeeze in here for a stretch of those glutes. Bringing the feet back down to the mat. We're going to take the left ankle now over the right knee, drawing either the thigh or the shin all the way in. And then placing the feet back down. We're going to go into our inversions now. So you may have the use of a block at home, and if you'd like to, you can slip the block under to support your lumbar spine. You can do your inversion without any supports. We're going to take our legs up in the air. You can have your hands underneath if you need a little support under there. We're going to flex our feet and begin our inversion. Just reversing the circulation. And you can stay here. You can also at home, if you like to, you can take your feet up the wall. So you bring your bottom in nice and close to the wall. I'll show you how to do this. And with your feet against the wall, you can just rest here for a moment in your inversion. If headstands are part of your practice, then feel free to come, if supported shoulder stands are part of your practice, then feel free to come up into your shoulder stand. So lifting up with your support, bringing your shoulders, your elbows in closely. Feet are flexed, legs are pointed directly straight up. Engaging the core and holding here. If you'd like to, you can take your legs a little further over your head. And if you want to, you can take a bend in the knee. And then when you're ready, coming back down to the mat. We're going to take our legs out straight. We're going to take another breath in here. So we're going to take our hands up and over our head. We're going to interlace the fingers, press the palms up, and feel a nice stretch all the way from the toes to the fingers. And then coming back around, we're going to rest our arms now, and we're going to begin our Shavasana. Shavasana, it's a time to relax the mind, relax the body, and begin a light meditation. So we're going to have our palms facing up. We're going to have our eyes softly closed. We're going to bring the awareness back to our breath. So taking nice, controlled in-breaths, followed by a slight pause and a slightly longer out-breath. Once again, a slight pause and another in-breath. The whole time improving our respiratory process, using the oxygen to fill up all those cavities in our lower belly, in our middle torso, and in our chest. And just relaxing the body now. The legs should just feel relaxed. The feet should just feel heavy at the end of our ankles and floppy. Our ankles and our knees and our hips and our major joints just feeling relaxed now. With resting our calves, our quads, our hamstrings, just relaxing the legs completely. You should be able to feel where your spine connects you to the earth and is supported by the ground beneath us. You should be able to feel the motion of your breath in your body. With every in-breath, the chest rising. With every out-breath, the chest relaxing. Not worrying about anything. With every in-breath, relaxing more and more. With every out-breath, just letting go. Letting go of anything that worries you, any stress, any negativity, just letting go. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, relaxing the fingers. The head and the neck. The cheeks and the jaw should all be just resting now. There should be no tension to be felt anywhere. You may be noticing a slight difference from your left to your right. You might be noticing the changes and the effects of the practice today. As we continue with our breathing. Breathing through the nose which helps us calm. And when you're ready, let's just begin to just wiggle our fingers and wiggle our toes. You may want to take a small stretch that just feels right for you right now. And when you're ready, we're going to come to rest on our side body. Just whichever side is more comfortable for you. And just taking a couple of breaths into our side body now. And when you're ready, we're going to come up slowly and gently into a seated position. Resting our palms on our knees. Our ears, our shoulders, and our hips should all be in alignment. Taking another couple of breaths here. And on our next in-breath, we're going to reach up with our hands. Reaching up, filling all those cavities. Pressing our palms together as we exhale. Bring our hands down to our heart center. Resting those hands on our knees. And you can stay here, relaxed, and just continuing with your breath. I hope you've all enjoyed the practice today. I hope you're all doing really well. And if you need anything, just reach out to your trainers. We're always here, always available to help you with anything. But that ends our group class today for yoga, our virtual group class. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste.